Well, and speaking of changes in operation, and I mentioned this a few minutes ago, but the new NXT logo, and what are they going to do to my show, Ma? I watch NXT because if you see something good, which is intermittent at best on any of the wrestling shows, it's generally going to be on NXT as far as a good match and with professionals involved. And now they're going to change all that. God damn it, Cornette has said a few good things about this program. We've got to revamp this whole thing. But the new NXT logo they put out a video of their new logo. It's like 15 seconds long. I watched it on Twitter. The rapper Whale is doing some music. I put music in quotation marks.
I think it's Wale.
Well, Wale, ole. Whatever the fuck. Whale, Wally, whatever. If it's Wally, that's fine. If it's Beaver, that's fine. I don't care. Wally and the Beaver. I don't care. The point is, he's got alleged music behind this, and the new logo looks like, I don't know if it's kids finger painting, a psychedelic acid trip, some Ralph Bakshi animation from the 70s. Are they trying? Is it a Grateful Dead fucking bus that they're painting? What? Good God. What are they doing to NXT now?
Well, you and I are longtime wrestling fans, and we watched NXT, and in the past we said, it is very dark. Imagine if someone who's not a wrestling fan saw that and go, yo, we should just fill this up with light. And I don't know what that logo is. It kind of reminds me of like Caddyshack 2, and all of a sudden Jackie Mason gets control of the golf course and his roller coasters and Ferris wheels and all sorts of stuff. What's going to happen to NXT? Are they about to do that? Is NXT about to become this bright, youthful show? We'll see.
Well, yes, they do need a little lighting in the arena. We've said that. But on the logo, it looks like a Rorschach test. I don't think they needed to change the entire logo as much as and the look of the show as much as they need to change some of the talent that they feature on it, pep it up a little bit, and throw another extra spotlight or two onto the ring. But again, they've said they'll go too far with anything, because I know Bruce and Johnny Ace down there going, look, all these guys are too small. We've heard that. They want the big guys, like Johnny Ace wants to go out and find his 2 left-footed 6'5" guys. They overlook the fact that there shouldn't be a rule of thumb about anything. If there was a size rule, they wouldn't have got Rey Mysterio. It just, what happens is when you go too far with it and everybody looks, they cut that Jake Atlas. Remember I said the most boring human being in the world. And he was featured on every NXT TV show there for a while when you couldn't find Austin Theory in a police lineup. And if you showed him, I would think, to Johnny Ace or Bruce Pritchard, they would even be on board with an Austin Theory, because he can work, but he's also got the size and the fucking face and the whole 9 yards. But they see a guy like a fucking Johnny Sameface and go, what the fuck? Especially if Vince was to see that and go, wait a minute, this guy's been the champion here. All this television time has revolved around this guy. He's 5'6". He's fucking 170 pounds. His wife is bigger than he is. He's got no facial expression, and he does a bunch of fucking spots over and over. That's when you see somebody that obviously was never, ever going to the main roster being featured, that's when they get fucking mad, and then Vince goes all the way the other way. God damn it, everybody's got to be 6'2" and everybody's got to be 230 pounds or I'm going to shit on them. Because he sees one or two things like that and goes, what the fuck? And then Bruce and Johnny Ace enable him. Does this make sense to you?
Yeah.
Knowing how Vince is with things. This is the guy when he got in his fucking sport vehicle that day and started it up and was backing out of his garage, and he had hit the button on his garage door opener, but he didn't hit it right and the door didn't open, so he backed into the garage door. Instead of fucking pulling up and hitting the button again, he just said fucking kept backing through the goddamn thing and then fucking called him to fix it. if he sees something that he feels shouldn't be there, he will react all the way over to the other end of the spectrum. And because they were, without doubt, NXT had a bunch of interchangeable, bland, small guys doing indie-style matches. And if he saw that's why he's fucking flipped in the other direction. But at the same time, you didn't need to change everything about NXT because, as I mentioned, with the guys at the top, that's where you got the better performances of any shows. And now they're going to fuck this all up because they couldn't keep the, the eye on, what overall was going to fly with Vince or what wasn't or who could get under the radar. I would have to think Adam Cole would look better in the NXT lineup to Vince McMahon if there weren't 18 other guys that same size, and you could just look at that guy's performance and that guy's promos, and you could hear something about this guy specifically. He could be justified. But instead, they see 15 interchangeable small guys and go, oh, fuck, we're all fucked here. So, I had guys that could work in OVW that I put on television that were still 6 feet tall and they were undersized at 190, but they could fucking perform. And I would get browbeaten about that because they didn't have contracts. I would say, well, they're good workers and they help the fucking show. But I didn't have 15 of them. Anyway, I don't know I'm going to keep watching NXT because I'm going to see what happens to it. We're not going to do full reports. For heaven's sake, on every week, but I'm going to see what happens, whether it goes up, down, north, south, positive or negative or what.
I definitely want to see what the revamp is going to look like or feel like.
I want to see what they do to the roster and the matches they're presenting is what I want to see, because I don't ultimately care what their logo looks like. I just want to know whether they can actually do a good wrestling show. And they've tried in the past. They've got there for some segments. We'll see what happens. What do you think the chances are, Brian?
Chances that NXT will be a good show in the future?
Yeah.
Ooh, 60-40 maybe? Well, I don't know. I don't know.
Then you know what? Then you need to stay away from daily fantasy sports because you don't know your statistics. Did you know that 85% of the people who play daily fantasy sports lose, Brian? Did you know that 100% of the people who predict a pleasing product from the WWE end up in a rubber room at the Puzzle Factory? Were you aware of that?
I was, yes. I believe you said some of those facts on the Drive-Thru.
Yes, well, a lot of these games are rigged, folks. They're rigged against you, the little guy. But if you've got a big brother, if you've got somebody to take care of you, then you're all right. And that's the folks at Stat Hero. It's the first ever daily fantasy sports book that puts the player in control and winning within reach. Stat Hero shows you their lineups and dares you to beat them. It's you versus the house in a head-to-head fantasy matchup. And most of my fantasies do involve being head-to-head with people. You name your stakes, winner take all, you have the advantage. Stat Hero is showing you their lineups ahead of time, and nobody else does that. You're in total control. Stat Hero is DFS the way it was meant to be, one-on-one, and you can play Stat Hero right now and change the odds. And if you go to stathero.com/JCE and sign up for free right now, you can get 3 times back on your first play. 300% match, that's unheard of. I may even have said that wrong. If you sign up for free and get 3 times back, you'd get 3 times nothing. But you can sign up for free.
It's unheard of.
And then it's unheard of. And then you can get 3 times back on your first play.
That's right.
That's right. And that's been heard of because I just said it. Go to stathero.com/JCE, stathero.com/JCE. Folks, you don't just watch sports. You follow every play at every player. Get the daily fantasy sports book that rewards passion with winning. Stat Hero.